Hello all, welcome to Amigos IAS Academy. In today's session, we shall be discussing 4 important topics which are published in your The Hindu newspaper. The first and foremost article is on gender and space. So this article is being discussed in the light of judgment passed by Supreme Court of United Kingdom. So the Supreme Court of United Kingdom has interpreted few words under Equality Act 2010, which is passed by United Kingdom. Under this, the words interpreted by Supreme Court are woman and sex. In this judgment, Supreme Court has given a limited interpretation about the words woman and sex. About the woman, the Supreme Court has said that the term woman under Equality Act 2010 includes only biological women. It includes only biological women. What is the meaning of the word biological woman? Biological woman means a child who is declared as female at the time of birth is called biological woman. What about interpretation about the word sex? Sex is interpreted by Supreme Court as biological sex. Again, what is the meaning of the term biological sex? The sex determined at the time of the birth, be it male or female, is your biological sex. Now, what is the impact of this judgment? It means that any trans woman who has undergone reassignment as woman and who is having gender recognition certificate is no longer considered as woman under your Equality Act 2010. This judgment is pronounced in case of for women Scotland versus Scotland Minister. Now, For Women Scotland is an organization which believes that sex means only male or female. It is against the concept of gender fluidity. So, remember the word gender fluidity. All these words and concept can be used under your social justice paper. So, make a note of such terms which can be used in your both in your polity and social justice paper. First, what is the meaning of gender fluidity? The concept of gender fluidity says that the gender is not fixed at the time of the birth, but it can vary further in life. Means any female declared at the time of the birth as a female can go and change the sex into male. So that is the concept of gender fluidity. What is the concept of gender binary? Gender binary means there are only two sexes, that is either male or female. Means there exist only two sexes, that is male and female. But whereas gender fluidity means the gender is not fixed at the time of the birth, but it can be varying in future also. So, For Women Scotland supported the concept of gender binary. When Scottish government made few reforms which included trans women as women under Equality Act, this organization filed a petition against the reforms made by Scottish government. In light of this issue, Supreme Court of UK has given the following judgment, which is an 88 pages judgment, which said that the definition of woman doesn't include trans women under Equality Act of 2010. The Supreme Court also said that it is not taking away the rights of trans women, but it said that trans women can no longer claim rights of women under Equality Act of 2010. So that's the issue. Now, is UK the only government to do such things, or Is there any other country which is following the same reforms? If you notice, Donald Trump has commented that there exist only two genders, male and female. Once Donald Trump became president, he has withdrawn many reforms brought by Joe Biden. One of such reform is not allowing transgenders to participate in military. So even USA is going in this direction, which is impacting the rights of trans women, that is transgenders. Moving on to the next topic of the day is on REITs and InvITs. This is under your GS paper 3 economy module. So this is the article which is published under the Hindu newspaper. Before going into the topic, let us revise few basic terms. So sponsor is the term which is used in your REITs and InvITs. Who is sponsor? Sponsor can be a real estate company or a real estate developer. Sponsor is having few assets which he will be transferring the ownership rights to trust. Who creates the trust? The sponsor only creates the trust. The sponsor creates a trust and he transfers the ownership of the assets to trust. For example, if this sponsor has transferred 10 rupees valued asset to trust, what will trust do? The trust will divide this 10 rupees worth of property into units. Let us consider the trust has divided the asset into 4 units, 5 units. 5 units it divided. Now, the valuation of each unit will become 2 rupees. As complete property is of 10 rupees, the trust has divided the property into 5 units. Each unit will be carrying worth of 2 rupees. Any investor who is interested to pay this 2 rupees will become owner of this particular unit. So if any investor who pays 2 rupees will become owner of this particular unit. Like that, the trust will raise 10 rupees worth from investors. This is the main mechanism behind your REITs and InvITs. There is a sponsor, there is a trust. Trust will raise money from your investors. So this is the concept both for your real estate and infrastructure trust funds. First is your real estate investment trust. So what is this trust? It is an entity that owns a portfolio of income generating real estate assets. Who transfers these real estate assets? Sponsor transfers these real estate assets to trust. Who will give money? The trust then raises capital by issuing units to investors. So investors pool their money into this trust. The trust has the property of the sponsor. So this is the working mechanism of your real estate investment trust, where investors are pooling their money into some real estate property, be it mall, office space, warehouse, hotel or apartment. The returns which are being collected from these real estate properties, be rent or profit or dividend, will be divided among the investors. So this is how the REITs work. The same functioning is also performed by your infrastructure investment fund. Here also you have the concept of sponsor, trust and investors. But the only difference is, in real estate fund you are having real estate assets. In infrastructure you are having infrastructural projects, either in roadways or waterways or your airports. So the same concept, unit holder is nothing but your investor. This investor will give money to your investment fund, and this infrastructure investment fund will invest the money given by investor into different infrastructure projects, be it your airport development project or roadway development project, and whatever return is collected, either in the form of toll collected by roadways or any fees collected by infrastructural projects, will be again given back to your investors. So this is how your real estate and infrastructure investment funds work. I think you got clarity on this concept. Moving on to third important topic of the day is on I4C. I think every one of you has received message from I4C saying that if you are a victim of cybercrime, please call on the number 1930. So what is I4C? The full form of I4C means Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. So today's article is on I4C, which says government brings cybercrime center I4C under PMLA. What is PMLA? Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, what is I4C? And under which ministry it is present? It is present under your Ministry of Home Affairs. Remember this, it is important. It is under your Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, what is the main function of I4C? I4C is established to tackle all cybercrime related complaints raised by citizens of the country. And it also coordinates between various law enforcement agencies. So this is the major function of your I4C. And I4C has majorly 4 important components under this. First important one is National Cybercrime Threat Analysis Unit. So first one is National Cybercrime Threat Analysis Unit, which analyze the risk due to cybercrime. This is the major function of your National Cybercrime Threat Analysis Unit. The second important component is National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. So this portal is a 24/7 portal which acts on the motto of anywhere, anytime. So the citizen can raise complaint from anywhere, anytime on this reporting portal. And the third important component under this I4C is National Cybercrime Training Center. So this trains all your government officials regarding cybercrimes and how to tackle the cybercrimes. And the fourth important one is National Cybercrime Research and Innovation Unit. As the name tells, it is for research and innovation. So these are 4 major important components under your I4C, and I4C is under your Ministry of Home Affairs. It majorly tackles cybercrimes in the country. And under this article, now government is extending the scope of I4C by placing it under PMLA under the section 66 of your Prevention of Money Laundering Act. This provision is being added by the government. So this is the crux of your newspaper. Moving on to the next article, it is about H5N1. What is H5N1? So it is avian influenza. H5N1 or H5B1 is bird flu, which is highly pathogenic virus that primarily circulates among birds. It primarily circulates among birds, but it can even impact mammals, including your humans. So how does it spread? It spread due to direct contact with nasal and respiratory secretions from infected birds, or direct contact with infected birds' fecals, or contamination of feed and water, contact with contaminated equipment and humans. So this is the mode of transmission of bird flu among the birds and between humans also. What are the signs of infected bird? It lacks energy and appetite. Combs and wattles of chicken turn purple color, and there is a swelling observed in the head and leg region of the bird. So these are the important symptoms and signs of infected birds. Now the article says that the National Institute of Virology shared the H5N1 genome data with public database. What is the public database which they are saying? It is GISAID. So Indian National Institute of Virology has shared the data of H5N1 with GISAID. What is GISAID? It is your global initiative on sharing all influenza data. So it is a global depository about all the virus across the world. It is an open access database that was launched in 2008. Its initiative promotes the rapid sharing of data from all influenza viruses. What does this promote? This promote research into vaccines and research into diseases and how to counter the spread of diseases. So to access easy information to each and everyone across the world, this database is launched where anyone, any institute can reposit their data about virus in this particular platform. So this is the importance of GISAID and your H5N1 virus. These are the 4 important articles which are published in the Hindu newspaper. Now moving on to mains practice question. In the backdrop of a rising trend of dissemination of transgender rights, analyze the steps taken by Indian government to protect them. Please do write this answer. It can be important for your mains examination. That's all for today's session. We shall meet tomorrow with a new topic. Till then, happy learning.